Okay, I believe we're up. We are here with Life is Strange 2.
I don't hear music.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong.
Should I?
Because I'm on the wrong screen.
There we
Uh,
go.
episode 5. And this should be the second half of episode 5, which is the last episode. So this should be the finale. Um, the first part of this episode had what I mostly found to be more pointless fucking around. We are now. We were now in the grown up hippie commune where our mom lives. So instead of hanging around with hippies who are your age, who you might be friends or even lovers with, these are people who are much older than you. So there's kind of not much of anywhere you can go with them in terms of relationships, and in any event, you don't get that time. Unlike episode 3, where you spent a lot of time in this camp, you don't really, it presents it to you as just a place that you've been for a while, and you don't get to know the people really. You're just like, it's just you're here, and you already know these people, and you talk to them like once each. And you, Sean, the character, think that everything you see about this place is completely amazing and awesome, even though it's, I mean, it's, there are cool things about it, but it's kind of, it felt to me like they were really forcing you to want to feel this way about this place. I wasn't as impressed by it as my character was. But the one thing that certainly stood out that happened was that, there was a return of a major character from Life is Strange 1, which was David, Chloe's stepfather, who she didn't get along with because he was from the military. He was very strict, and he even, he did some things that were objectively wrong. He picked on Kate, who was like the best, most angelic kid in the entire school, and he still picked on her for some reason. He installed hidden cameras in his home so he could watch his family without their knowledge. He was just very, very paranoid. But
Hey, quick question.
yeah,
Did you save Kate from killing herself?
yes, I did. Did you? Do you remember?
I think I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, because you had to go into her room. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you had to like pull out something that you remembered that meant something to her or something like that. And I was proud of that because it was like you had to, it took a little skill or whatever to achieve that. And then, anyway,
yeah,
curious.
yeah, and you cannot go back on that. You cannot rewind time when you do that. So if you get that wrong, it's wrong, and she's dead. And
yep.
From what I've read, a lot of people were really, that hit a lot of people very hard because that's a very likable character, and if they screwed it up, they felt really bad. They didn't want her to kill herself. But yes, it is well suited for me because I look everywhere, so I had looked in her room and I had seen these things. It was similar to the conversation that we had with Daniel just now in episode 4, where we had to cite things that we had found back at him to convince him not to stay with the cult. But the difference is, and I mentioned this earlier, that you cannot screw up in this game. You cannot die in this game, nor can you reach a point where you have to start over. So even if I had, it didn't really matter what I answered to those questions, Daniel would have done the same thing anyway. There wasn't a way where I could have screwed that up. So I think that's a disadvantage that this game has. It seems relatively easy to fix, but Life is Strange did have the sort of advantage of having the time rewind, so they could explain how you quote unquote start over. So this one doesn't have that. But anyway, so we meet David, and he, it's a big change, and certainly not anything I would ever have expected. That he has gone from being this military guy who, towards the end of Life is Strange 1, you see a foreshadowing of what happens here, because if you recall, when you're in the dark room, when Jefferson captures you, Chloe is dead in that branch. He had shot her in the junkyard, and she's dead until you go back to fix it later. So there's the scene. I don't know if you remember this scene where David comes in to save you from the dark room, and you have to tell him all the things that Jefferson is going to do. And it's trial and error to like tell him to do, you try one thing, and then Jefferson does something else, and you die, and David dies, so you rewind and you try a different thing, and you sort of walk through David. You walk David through saving you, and then you have the option either to tell him that Chloe is dead or to not. And if you do tell him, he's devastated, and he basically says what we saw him say just earlier in this episode of the new game, that he was devastated, that he knew that he had done everything wrong, and he felt responsible. And so we learned that not only did it lead to that guilt in him, but it broke up his marriage with Joyce, Chloe's mother. And although it seems like they're talking again, and there's a possibility they could get together again, they are not together now. And David has gone from being a military guy to being a hippie who lives in this community off the grid with a bunch of other hippies. So I certainly didn't see that coming, but I think it was, it's interesting, and I think it's a reasonable place for the character to go. I just wasn't, and just in general, I wasn't expecting a character. There had been no references whatsoever to the first game until suddenly in the middle of chapter 5 they bring back what was a pretty significant character. And I wonder if it is in part a reaction to, because I'm sure they got a lot of feedback. I'm not sure how this game Life is Strange 2 sold. I don't know anything about that, but even if it sold well, I'm sure they still got a lot of feedback from people basically saying, we want Max and Chloe. We only care about that story. We don't care about this story. So I wonder if there was any pressure on them to make some sort of reference. And they got in here at the last, basically the last minute. And, but whatever, it worked. But as I said last time, you could spin it as a bad thing that maybe something from a game that isn't this game made more of an impression to me than most things that have happened in this game.
It's totally unfair, of course, to expect that of an anthology series, because you can imagine the first part of an anthology series that becomes popular, where everyone falls in love with the first, parts,
right,
characters, and then they expect, oh no, the second one isn't the same. So of course you gotta allow them to branch out and do a new story, especially if that's how they designed the format. But then you just have to make it good.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I guess, once we're done, we'll, I guess, sort of get into the, this is not, this has been very, very hit and miss for me, but not to the point where it can't save itself if the ending is great. So I'm not going to, pronounce a final judgment right now. But yeah, so I mean, the stuff with my mom, the stuff with our mom in this episode, I mean, it's a little interesting, but I feel like it hasn't really quite gotten there. It's just like she's a little bland and she's such a standoffish character that the fact that it's hard to get to know her like might be realistic, but it's making the game, it's making it hard for me to care about her actual character. And but I think suspect that she will be back, so there's probably more to be done with her. But we spent a lot of time with her, and I feel like they've wanted to do like a redemption story with her, but I haven't really been feeling it so much. But all right, let's get started. So anyway, so we made it to the we made it to the wall. And I think we pretty much determined that what we're looking at right now, this type of wall, doesn't really exist. Like, there might be fences, there might be... And actually, someone in the game said to us, if you had gone 10 miles away, you wouldn't have been facing this wall, you would have been just been able to walk across. So the writers of the game knew that this, like, Great Wall of China thing we're looking at doesn't exist now, and certainly wouldn't have existed in July of 2017 when Trump would only have been president for a few months. So I don't exactly know if we're supposed to be envisioning a world where Trump was more successful at building a wall than he actually was. I'm not really sure what the fiction of the game is. And that's a little confusing to me, but whatever. We get here, and although there is no wall 10 miles away, there's a big giant wall here. And Daniel blows a hole in it, and we're about to go through when we get captured by some rednecks. And one of them actually puts a hood over Sean's head, which is never good. That means either, at best, you're being kidnapped, or worse, you're about to be shot in the back of the head. But then the Border Patrol shows up, and they arrest both us because we are wanted for murder, and the vigilante, like, rednecks who were trying to stop us from crossing the border. So both of us were very scared either that the game would end with us just crossing the border and it's a happy ending and sort of like nothing, like it would feel like it just wouldn't have been satisfying. Or probably even worse would have been the episode where the rednecks kill us, as because this game has been pretty heavy-handed with its politics, and it just would have been like the worst kind of like see what you get. You elected Trump, this is what you get. It would have been really bad. And again, I'm not talking about my own politics. I agree with this game's politics, and I'm not saying that racists should be presented sympathetically, but I don't know. It's just like it just feels like stock characters. And I think it's in part because Sean is a stock character. There's not much to Sean. I think that's a big part of it, despite the fact that we spent 20 hours with him. Anyway, so now everyone's arrested. Of course, they put the rednecks in the cell next to us because that makes perfect sense. And we'll see how we get out of this one, if at all. And we'll never have to hear about the wolves again, unless it comes back at the end.
Oh yeah, it'll come back.
I think it probably will come back. It won't be it probably won't be like a slideshow, the cutscene thing. God is watching, I think. Okay. I couldn't make that out last time. This time I think I got it. So now we're talking about, even though these people are in jail, so it's not, these people have committed a crime, so it's not quite the same thing. But I think what we're meant to be thinking of is the internment camps on the border. Oh, so we're going to have a conversation in Spanish with these people. Not those
Don't
people.
look at me.
¿Estás bien?
And again, as usual, every time we have rednecks, we have one redneck who's hardcore and one redneck who's like, hey, what are you doing? Stop it. That's the game's idea of being
Subtlety.
even-handed.
Mi esposa Carla. Y este frijolito de aquí es Ángel.
Oh, Ángela.
Encantado. Soy Sean.
¿Cómo te sientes, hijo?
¿Han visto un niño de 10 años? Es mi hermanito. Nos separaron cerca del muro. Está herido.
Lo llevaron a la enfermería. Si fuera grave, una ambulancia ya habría venido a buscarlo. Si lo dejaron aquí, quiere decir que está bien.
Tranquilo, amigo. Aquí no hacen daño a los niños.
All right, I guess let's look at the door. I don't know what that's
No way
gonna.
I can break through that door without Daniel's help.
Yeah, that's what a jail means. I guess let's talk to the vigilantes
wrong
first.
with
I
these
don't think I'm gonna get too much out of them.
Seriously. Why are you doing this? What's your problem?
Doing what?
You shot my 10-year-old brother.
It was a mistake. It's just a graze. The fall is what knocked him out.
Oh, you don't have to talk to him, Dad.
Cool story.
I wonder how long they've been here. And why.
Hope that Campbell's almost done with the paperwork. Then we're out and we're not coming back.
Ugh, this place is fucking gross.
So it was stated. It was implied. I mean, it was basically stated that they have the vigilantes have a deal with the police, where the police look the other way. Or with the border patrol rather, just the guy who they normally have this arrangement with is off duty today. So the only reason why
¿Cómo estás?
they got arrested is because a different
Me duele la espalda.
officer was on duty.
Apóyate aquí si quieres.
This guy must be trained not to listen to anything we say.
No soy de porcelana.
All right, I did everything. What do you want me to do? Oh, poster? Well, that's
Thanks. I'll remember that.
alcohol, nicotine, and cannabis are not your friend. That's weird. Graffiti?
Jeez. Wonder how many people have been locked up in here.
All right, that's all great, but I have no objectives.
Pero ¿cuánto tiempo nos van a tener aquí?
No sé.
I mean,
Tiempo suficiente de
maybe I'm just supposed to sit here. That's certainly realistic, but I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe you need to draw, observe, and draw.
Oh, did I not talk? Maybe I just looked at this guy and didn't talk to him.
Excuse me. Do you know where my brother is? He's just a kid.
No.
¿Saben cuánto tiempo nos van a dejar aquí?
No.
Esta es la primera vez que intentan cruzar. Me acuerdo de nuestra primera vez. Casi morimos de sed en el desierto.
I don't need to.
¿Hace cuánto tiempo pasó eso?
Hace año y medio. El presidente era otro, pero los problemas de nuestro lado de la frontera eran los mismos.
Es la
Okay.
tercera vez
Interesting that they
que intentamos cruzar la
bring that
frontera.
up.
Wait, what did she say?
She said that they first tried to cross a year and a half ago. It was a different president, but the same issues.
¿Por qué necesitan cruzar tan desesperadamente.
Obama deported a very large number of people.
No pudimos soportar la inseguridad ni la miseria.
En México, la violencia tiene muchas formas. No se puede vivir así.
Cuando mi hermano fue secuestrado y asesinado por
Not
una
that this is a
pandilla,
deportation, but anyway.
si hubiésemos pedido quedarnos, nos habríamos quedado en nuestro pueblo, pero
Good,
hemos
because I
dado
don't
una
want you to
vida-
tell me all about how Mexico
una vida
sucks.
mejor a nuestro hijo o
That's where I'm
hija.
going. Not in El Dorado. What the hell does that mean? I'm gonna say it. What does that
Estados
mean?
Unidos
Oh, we're not. It's not.
no es el paraíso que esperan.
Yeah. Okay.
En serio. Mucha
Yeah, we're not
gente viene
paradise
aquí
either.
it's
pensando
not a.
que van a
It's not
vivir
an
el
old
American
car.
dream, pero muchos no lo logran.
Sin embargo, tenemos que probar. Nosotros también merecemos un poco de esperanza. No eres mexicano, ¿verdad?
Yeah, I
Oigo
am.
por tu acento.
What? Racist? I mean, yes, I'm not Mexican.
No.
What? Even ethnically, you're
soy
half.
estadounidense.
That counts.
Era, no sé. Mi padre es. Era. Mexicano. Por eso queremos cruzar a México. Para empezar de cero.
Enough now. It's America. We speak English.
We're just talking.
No, the problem is you people breaking into my country.
We come here to work, not steal or live at your home.
Diego,
No, I am so fucking tired. You only come here to cause trouble. And we have to pay for your welfare. You all want a free ride. And that makes me sick.
You know what? I'm not gonna try that.
Only
Whoop.
want work and in peace.
yes. Honest
I was
story.
gonna say I'm not gonna
Please
try to
raise
reason with her.
our
I'm just gonna
child
tell
in
her
a
to
safe
sit down and
country.
shut up.
That's all we're looking for.
That's what you people always say. But the facts speak for themselves.
Your facts are just bigotry and hatred.
Yeah, I hate what you did to my country. Our borders, we have a right to protect our sovereign nation, and we will.
Damn right, baby girl.
You hunt us like animals.
I don't need to be having this
I don't think I have a
conversation with
choice.
her.
I want the safest country for my children.
See? You love your family like us. We don't go walking hundreds of miles in the desert and risking everything for no reason. We do it for our child. A mother must understand.
No, you and your unborn parasite have nothing in common with me and my family.
What?
Maddie,
What you say?
Oh, see? There you go.
take it easy.
Yeah,
This
but
is
there-
our
Siéntate,
country.
Diego. Solo vas a empeorar las cosas para ustedes.
Tienes razón, amor. No vale nada.
Whether
This-
you people like it or not, we're not gonna give you a break.
She said parasite. Look in the basement.
Loser.
This is so stupid that they would lock us in adjoining cells. And it's
Why are we stuck down here with them?
absurd.
You know us. We're helping you, goddammit.
Hey, you have the right to remain silent, so fucking use it, okay?
All right.
Diaz, you're up.
How's my brother?
Don't worry about him. Now turn around. Hands behind your back.
Well, this is what I wanted to happen the first time I got captured. I want to see what happens when I
Let's move it.
talk to law enforcement. I mean, they tried, but the FBI agent was like a waste of time.
All right. Sit down.
Where's my brother?
He's doing fine for a kid who got grazed by a bullet. Lost some blood. But he's tough. They're taking care of him at the infirmary. You want coffee?
Okay.
You have to
Good.
role play wanting
Be
coffee.
right back.
Okay.
Fuck. Shit. Is it morning already? I hope he's alright. How am I gonna get myself out of this mess?
Well, I could probably just break the handcuffs and leave if the last time I got captured is any
Great.
indication.
Now I can put on a fucking show. No point in getting these off. There are cops everywhere.
If that had worked, I don't even know what. I mean,
Hope Daniel doesn't freak out in here.
are they gonna create some sort of distraction that I can take advantage of?
How am I gonna get myself out of this mess?
We're all sick of your shit. If I have to come back here again, you're going to solid.
Shit. Is it morning already? Haven't seen Daniel since yesterday.
There you go. Looks like you need it.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Damn. Seriously?
Yeah.
No.
Coffee's gonna make me feel so much better.
Keep drinking it.
All right.
At least it'll keep
Maybe you get an achievement for finishing it.
Apparently, I'm just sitting here.
Jeez. That's quite a crime spree. It's hard to believe what kids can do nowadays.
Well, you know the internet.
Killing that officer in Seattle. Vandalizing a motel room.
Vandalized
Caught
a
in
motel
another
room.
weird explosion.
That's
Oh,
Daniel
when
freaked out.
when Daniel
And
found it.
you
When Daniel
join
found out.
a religious
Okay.
commune in Nevada. Oh, which ends up burnt to the ground. And we're not even halfway down the list. One of those things you could get away with.
Maybe
but
not the
all that.
murdering the cop part.
It sounds crazy, but I can explain.
Explain it to Agent Flores.
Oh, great. She's
on her way
back.
now.
She's a
She spoke to your mother,
scintillating presence in this game.
who took responsibility for the church fire.
She says a lot. Who cares? You don't have any proof. Don't drag her into
And
this.
I didn't
okay?
want to make a definitive
She's a
statement.
good
That's
person.
Hey,
trying to use my knowledge
not
of how to
up to
talk
me.
to cops.
listen.
Let's see how it goes.
I feel sorry for you. I really do. But
Why?
denying what you did will only make things worse.
Hmm. This is probably not a big decision. I'm giving this more thought than it deserves. I mean, I feel like the way you talk to people is you explain yourself, and then he can
Did what I
decide
had to do.
whose fault it
I
is.
needed to protect my brother.
I know, son. But running away from trouble is never a good solution. You know, I read the report. You claim that Officer Matthews' death was an accident, so why didn't you wait for the police?
I'm supposed to answer this question? This is this is the question I've had all game that I haven't had a good answer to. Seriously, how am I supposed to answer this question? It's dumb. I shouldn't have done it. I wish I had that option. I mean, I guess no one would have believed it. It's more
No
accurate
one would have
because
believed what happened.
Obvious-
We didn't either.
obviously no one will believe he has
It's too
superpowers.
late now. Your case is filled to the brim with evidence. Good news is, your brother's too young to be prosecuted.
I'm not.
He'll end up with your grandparents, if they want him. But you're facing a shitload of years between bars. At least he'll get a life. What I don't get is how two kids can destroy so much stuff.
Yeah, I think you're about to find out.
Anywhere you went, something blew up. Seriously. How?
All right, I'm gonna for once in my life, this fucking dork. I'm gonna say a cool thing.
What do you want me to say? We're supervillains. We can't help but destroy shit.
Yeah, right. I bet the judge will love this. Maybe he'll give you special treatment. Whoa! What is that?
Sir? I don't think you should...
Keep your ass in that seat.
I'm handcuffed.
Sean!
You okay? How do you feel?
I'm okay. Just...
So, okay, this is the same thing as last time I got captured, but it doesn't matter.
Dude, we gotta go.
Hold up.
Take the gun.
You okay? I wanted to rescue you, but I had to use my power. I didn't want to hurt him.
He's okay. Don't worry.
I wanted to take the gun.
Come on, we gotta go.
Escarna, estoy...
Sean,
Can I do something cool to them?
Shall we try to make peace with these morons? Well, Carla and Diego, they came all the way from Mexico and got thrown in jail for it. As for the others,
Alright,
they're the ones who try to shoot you.
whatever. If I can break them out, I'm gonna do
got
it.
locked up. Good. Go to hell.
Hold on. We're gonna get you out. Daniel?
Get the keys from the cop.
That's it.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
And I'm no longer worried about my
Espérenme aquí.
what my rap sheet looks
Until I
like.
check
Obviously,
this out.
Of course.
the cops can't hold me.
Holy mother. How'd you do that? How?
What the
Shall
fuck
we
are
try to make peace with these morons?
Alright, see ya.
Oh, wait, you had an option to do what? The blue option.
I assume I could break them out.
I killed him.
No.
Take
it's
revenge.
okay.
No, I'm not gonna. I mean,
Just
no, I'm not
break
gonna
up
do
with a
that.
nasty headache.
That's. It's good you reminded me that I have that option, but I will not take that option.
He's out for the count.
Fuck did you criminals get out, huh?
Maddie, don't. Okay, hands up.
Shit!
Don't
shoot!
Hands up!
Do not move! Wait!
Sean,
Stay back, Daniel.
Do it now. What's? Why stop? Why stop now?
Quick,
Oh, kill? No, let's not do that.
the chair.
You can mug them.
They're dangerous! Be careful! We will shoot if we need to.
The mug,
Understand? Fuck!
I'm scared. Do something.
Okay, now
Okay,
back
what
behind the doorway.
Do not
You
move!
distracted them, so back behind the doorway.
What's that?
You distracted them for a second, but you didn't do anything.
Stupid kid!
I don't think I can do
This
anything.
is our last warning.
I'm not saying
guns
you.
down,
I'm saying
please.
to Sean.
What just happened?
Sean,
That you
hey,
got shot.
you alright?
I'm used to it.
I mean,
I'm
I
okay.
didn't hear a gunshot.
Yeah, neither did
I
I.
don't want to hurt
I
anybody
don't-
anymore.
You saved us. You had no choice. Now, let's bail.
Yeah, he
I could have
doesn't
done.
look.
I could have done something with the locker. I don't know what. Or what's in there? Whatever.
Hey, hey!
Step
What did you
back.
do? You fucking murderer!
Nice. Don't move. I'll be right back.
Okay, but be quick.
Again, you know, the fact that I can't die or screw this up means,
Put so much effort into this.
you know, whatever I did or didn't do doesn't matter. Am I gonna take the rifle? No, I can't.
After this, you're not gonna hunt shit anymore.
What is the point? Why'd I come in
Dad
here?
belongs to one of these trigger-happy people.
There's probably more of them coming. Let's go.
Pretty good memory. From a pretty bad place.
I don't understand why I was asked to come in here.
Look at that. Crime Central.
Because you needed to pick up your backpack.
Gotta go.
Oh, I took my backpack?
Yes.
Okay. See, I had the option to do something with this locker.
We would
Maybe
be so
it-
dead if we didn't have Daniel's power. I hate
Maybe
that he
as-
has to use this for all
Maybe
this
as
shit.
they walked by, I could have opened the door into them. I'm not sure.
Take it out, Daniel.
Que Dios los bendiga.
Okay, go, go.
I'm such a goody-goody. I still question whether I should have done that, but it really seems like I should do whatever I feel like, because I can get away with anything. But I still don't want to kill people. It would have been interesting to see what take revenge on means. Doesn't necessarily mean kill.
No, nobody is chasing us.
Not yet.
Emergency! This is an all-points bulletin for every unit in the area. Multiple prisoners, 2 adults, and 2 teenagers have escaped from the El Rey police station. They are considered armed and...
Maybe they shouldn't have left of their own volition.
Are we still going to Mexico?
Yeah. We got nowhere else to go.
No, maybe from there we could go to like Cuba or some country that doesn't have an extradition treaty, because this is going to last about 5 seconds.
Sean, it's the 4th of July. Our first one without Dad.
You're right.
You're gonna have a lot of first ones without that.
Yeah.
Remember how he was so into fireworks every year? He always made us go too early. so
Today
we could
is
get a good spot.
our Independence Day.
I know. He is so corny. He said he was proud to live in this country. Shit.
Sean, what are we gonna do?
Sean! Sean Diaz! It's over! Don't make this worse! Get out of the car! Slow! Wave your hand above your head! Do exactly what I say!
Look, do you know how many people I could have killed and didn't? Is this going to be the Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah.
ending?
The day Dad was shot.
Yeah, I think
Think
I,
about it every day.
I think we know that day. I think he knows that day.
And I would give anything to change what happened. But I can't. I'm sorry for my mistakes. I tried my best. I swear.
Sean,
I'm so proud of you, Nano. Just like Dad would be. We both learned a lot together. But you can make your own rules now. If we surrender, they will separate us, Daniel. And if that happens, promise me that you will always do the right thing, okay? Don't waste your power.
So is the
Be
big
smart,
choice going to be
like you
surrender
are.
or not?
I don't want to be separated.
Whatever happens, always remember that you're Daniel Diaz.
I promise, Sean.
Can we fly the car?
So, how does the story of the Wolf Brothers end?
Here we go. All right. What do you think?
It's up to you. Cross the border, meaning just drive straight through.
Well, it Cross the Border has a Daniel's Power symbol next to it. So,
Oh, well, if Daniel can I mean,
we
right, we have to wonder.
yeah, we
what
don't
they're
know if
implying.
he can
Kill
u-
people.
Well, he can kill people. But we don't know if he can use, I don't think we know whether he can use his power on more than one thing simultaneously. Now, maybe he could, like, put his hand in front of him and sort of blow away everyone between us and the, and the
Shove everybody aside.
right. But there's
or
still
fly
people
the
behind
car.
us. Can he do it both ways? I don't think we've seen evidence that he can. But we don't know. But I mean, that's sort of like that's not, I think the details of that are not the decision, that's not the essence of the decision that they're asking us to make, I think.
Well, I would clearly choose cross the border to see what happens, because otherwise it's just a sad, boring ending.
Right. Well, as I've said throughout, the role-playing ending would be, for me, a surrender, because I wouldn't have done any of this in the first place.
But you would not.
But having come this far,
you would not know what you would do in this circumstance. Is the thing. You don't know what it's like to be.
I can guarantee you I would not flee a murder scene.
Well, no. I mean, yeah, not all the way back. The first thing. That's obviously it's a lot easier to figure out what you would have done. But given, assuming that everything in this game happened to you,
yeah,
and you're at this point now, and you're trying to make a choice of what he would do, what you would do in his position, you don't know.
Well, I would say
case,
go ahead.
Yeah, so in that case, we're too far gone. Is my point. That just trying to say, I would always obey the law is not something that I think can apply.
Well, I would say I'm sort of coming to the same conclusion from the opposite direction, which is that as the game goes on, it's not a question of it makes it harder for me to think of what I would actually do in this situation. It's a question of I realize what I would actually do in this situation doesn't matter, because I can, the the game is revealing itself to be a video game and not a series of real life decisions that have real life consequences. So yeah, I mean, again, I sort of have moved as this has gone on away from role playing because it really doesn't seem to help any or matter. So I'm going to do what I would not do, because we want to see what happens in the game and whether we can get away with it. And that is... Oh, gave me a second chance. And that is this.
They make it to the other side.
Now, we may not survive this. We don't know.
You sure?
Trust me, okay?
The other way, we would guarantee to at least live.
Hold on tight.
If he could make this car fly, I want to see it.
I don't wanna! I'm not hurting anyone else! Sean!
Open fire! It's too late! They're shooting at us, Daniel! This is the only way!
I'm sorry, Sean, but I have to go.
What? What are you talking about?
Don't turn back for me.
What?
I
Why?
hope you'll be happy in Mexico.
The hell is that about? Suddenly has a conscience?
He has had a conscience. He just fucks up a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of this. And they're trying to make me care about this character. I mean Flores, not Daniel. I do care about Daniel.
They made a big deal of Daniel saying he doesn't want to be separated. And just in a span of 10 seconds, he decides to separate. Then he decides to be the one separating them based on the only thing that's changed is that Sean made a decision that was unexpected.
Right, he's essentially decided to sacrifice himself, knowing that he's not going to get into trouble. But if I was caught, I'd be in jail for decades. I mean,
Well, welcome home, Daniel.
He'll quote unquote get into trouble.
A year later.
Yeah.
Is this a year later? No, this is a month later.
Yeah, right.
July 4th.
Got a new puppy. Right, he gets to be friends with Chris again.
Yay, Chris.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool. He's sort of a superhero on the down low. That's very gratifying. Beaver Creek residents petition to repair. Oh, that was the sign on the... Alright, he went to visit Mom. Alright, so it certainly seems like he made the right choice for himself.
2023, wow.
Let's see if... I feel like maybe the artistic thing would be if we don't know what happened to us. Okay, am I him?
I think Daniel gets to bone Cassidy now.
Yeah, that sucks. Is he calling me? Oh, he's calling Chris? No. It's got an ankle bracelet. I mean, he's obviously allowed to go outside. It's not entirely clear what his legal situation is. Maybe that's for me. Okay. Alright, so Maud's back in touch with her parents. No return address. That sounds like something I would do. Hey, there she is. Alright, so this was a happy ending. Unless something happens. Yeah, I would think that the way we see the stats, I would think that's not going to be 50-50. It seems to me like the overwhelming majority of people are going to choose what we chose. Let's get there.
Agreed.
You decided to force the roadblock and Daniel accepted. You decided to force the roadblock and Daniel refused. See, now, this is what I was saying last time. I would like to know what the mechanics of the, when you're not controlling the main character, it would be, or the character, who, when someone else, when there's another major character in the game making decisions, and those decisions are allegedly based on the way that you interacted with him, it would be really nice to know what exactly I did.
Wait, but
now that the game is over, they can tell me.
Why does it say he refused when he did force the roadblock?
Well, I assume if he accepted, then he would have gone to Mexico.
Well,
yes, that wording is not great, but that must be what that means, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is right. It was shown that he was reluctant. He didn't want to do it. He said, "No, I don't want to kill any more people." Sean's like, they're shooting at us, so you have no choice. Is that what refusing means, you're saying? And you're saying that there was a scenario where Daniel would have been more willing to use force?
No, he did use force. We got the 27% ending. I'm saying that Daniel accepted must mean that Daniel didn't jump out of the car and came with us.
Oh, the accepted refusal does not have anything to do with forcing the roadblock, you're saying?
I wouldn't. That's the only. I mean, how else would it make sense when what
Right,
happened to us is
it's-
called refusing?
I was saying it was wrong. This is inaccurate, but you're saying the only way for it to be not inaccurate is if you read it that way.
Yeah.
He refused. Basically, he accepted, to go along with you to Mexico, or refused to go along with you to Mexico.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I wondered, yeah. So you were wondering what we could have done to make him to come with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I guess it's time to, go YouTube up the possible endings.
Right. Well, we can. It'll be easy for us, and I'll do it right after this to do the other ending that we could have gotten, but this end, which is probably. Well, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. Yeah, but there are four possible. There are four possible endings, and I guess you're in line for two of them, depending on your relationship with Daniel. So we can see the other one that we could have gotten making these decisions, but we'd have to replay the entire game and know what decisions to make differently in order to see the other two. So it's interesting because it's not, the decision in the last game was entirely up to you. Now there's another person in the game, so it's not just what did you decide, it's also what did an NPC decide. But given that, pretty even between 57% of the people at least wanted Daniel to force his way through and come with. Whether he did it or not is a different story. Then 35, actually, the plurality decided to surrender because not surrendering split two ways. Overall, you taught Daniel to do his best to follow the rules of society, 62%. Overall, you taught Daniel to put himself and his brother first, 38%. Well, I mean, I definitely feel like that's accurate. That's definitely what I tried to do. That's it, huh? That's all the stats. Another episode where we really didn't have much to decide.
So Zufo said 10 minutes ago, "Our Life is Strange 2 streams done?" ? And then 10 minutes later, Arville goes, "Gasp, better not be."
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. But
Well,
yes, they are because the game is done.
Well, I was like, the thing is, I after the third episode, I stopped posting in the Discord that we were streaming because I figured nobody cared. But
well, you know what? I do it like somebody cares. I don't pay attention. I honestly don't pay attention to who is or not watching, but I'm going to do this like people are watching.
I agree. I agree.
As
but
do you.
anyway, but if they did care, they would have either turned their notifications on or tuned in.
Well,
or
if you're watching on YouTube afterwards, or Twitch afterwards, that's fine too. But
so
we're not going to find.
Stats,
yeah, if I continue, we're not going to find out how many people killed the cops, how many people freed the Mexican couple, how many people took revenge on the vigilantes. We're not going to get those stats. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also, you see 1 of 5 at the bottom. I mean, I don't know if you saw that.
No, that wasn't.
I don't know if
that
it was
wasn't there before. I had to. Yes, I had to continue. You did the treasure hunt and found the hidden souvenir. This was the time when I was so angry at the game that I didn't do a side mission, which is real angry. So obviously most people did that because there's nothing else for you to do in that point in the game, and telling him no is just being a dick.
In a game like this, most people do everything because it's not as painful as doing 100% of like the Witcher 3 side quests.
Right.
It's a lot easier to do 100% of these.
Right. And it's not a side quest in the sense that exists in other games where you have to sort of go out of your way to find it. He called me up on the walkie-talkie and said, "Can you do this?" And I just said no. You overall got closer to Karen. You overall kept your distances with Karen. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. As I said at the time, I didn't, I was still skeptical of her. I felt like the game was trying to make me feel like she was more sympathetic than I actually felt that she was, but I did get closer to her, and that's fair.
Yeah, it would have taken a lot of willpower to continue to pick every like unfriendly reaction.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, first of all, that also is the metagaming factor that if you do that, then nothing's going to progress, but it also wasn't how I felt. So I guess they did a decent job insofar as some of what they wanted me to warm up to her happened. I wrote a note.
You disappeared. Dean apparently disappeared. Hello, Dean, come back.
Hello? 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 Oh, okay. All right. Let me see here. Is this thing working? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. You didn't leave a note. I didn't see the option to do this. I don't know if it's because I missed it. I imagine it is. I mean, it could be because I didn't have a super great relationship with her, but I think probably it was because I just missed it. Because you can write a lukewarm note to her, so apparently you can write a note to her even if you're not crazy about her. So, all right, that was something I missed entirely. I said goodbye to the people. I guess if you're this. If you got to episode 5 in the first place, you're invested enough in the game that you're gonna do all these sort of menial tasks that don't mean a whole lot. If you got this far, you're into the game, basically. I hugged Karen 97%. Yeah, Again, as I said at the time, if they asked me to say I love you, that would have been different. But hugging someone is not a big deal. You intervened to calm Diego in the cell, 76%. You stayed out of the argument. I thought my other option was to, like, get into the argument. Okay. Whatever. And then 65% of people freed them. Not surprising. And then, yeah, my decisions were about the vigilantes were the vast majority of the people. I didn't free them. And I didn't take revenge on them either. I just left them there. That seemed to make the most sense. And I didn't ask Daniel to kill the officers. I mean, it's partially not killing, like I said, and partially the fact that you have figured out by this point in the game that you cannot be killed and you cannot make a bad decision. So why would you?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about. Yeah,
I'm back.
So why would you?
Where'd you go?
Well, I just something came on. So why would you ever kill somebody knowing that the game is going to let you not kill them? Because you will always proceed in this game, no matter what you decide.
Wait, you just went forward one page, right? I think. Go back just quick.
Yeah.
And I'll just look.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, go back one more because.
Yeah. Apparently, I missed the option to leave her a note.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
You
said goodbye.
I may have just walked right past it. Yeah.
All right. Next. Hugged her. Oh wow, 97%.
Yeah.
You.
Like I said, hug's not a big deal.
You freed the couple. Wow, 35% didn't. You didn't ask Daniel. You didn't hurt. Wow. Okay. Wow.
I'm not surprised. Really? You are? You think people would have? You think people would have hurt them?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you don't know what that means, as you said. You don't know whether that means physically hurt them or just play. You know what? I feel like it's very Life is Strange to have them play a prank on them, or something like that.
Yeah, that is an option I had earlier in the game.
Pants them telepathically.
Right.
But it actually says hurt here, so maybe I just noticed that.
Yeah. I mean, I was afraid about being killed them.
Right, which I guess most people, if most people thought that it would result in them getting seriously hurt or dying, then I can understand why they didn't go for it. But yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, then again, like I was saying, there's should never be necessary.
Okay.
If you have the option not to kill someone, you should take it because you never have to. Daniel was told off about the scorpion. Stop messing with it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a very minor thing where he picked up the scorpion. I could either say, I think either way I was going to tell him to not do it, but I could either say, like, don't, like, we don't have time for that, or I could say, what the hell are you doing? And I said, what the hell are you doing? And he listened. So this is more a decision, I think, based on your relationship with him than the actual decision that you make. If you have a bad relationship with him, or if he's sort of more on the dark side, he will not listen to you, and he will continue to mess around with this animal who isn't bothering anybody. So yeah, like I was saying before, anyone who got to episode 5 was probably willing to schlep around to do these pointless tasks, like talk to everybody, set up Joan's sculpture. Daniel was concerned about hurting Officer Campbell. So yeah, again, a lot of these seem to be just sort of measures of what is Daniel's relationship to you and how, what is his worldview? Is he...
Yeah, that sounds like it corresponds closely to whether you taught Daniel to do what's right.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if the number is similar. Oh, can't get that page anymore. And okay, I guess I could also have asked him to free the vigilantes, and he might not have done it. But since Since I didn't ask him to do that in the first place, that didn't come up. And most people didn't. Isn't that what we just... What? Oh, open the... Oh. So, okay, so that's one question. So that's... I'm sorry, that was open the cell. And then a similar thing with taking revenge on them. He could have refused to do either one of those things if I asked him to do it, which I did not. Most people did not. And again, as we said, I didn't ask him to kill the officers. So they're kind of like... They're really breaking down things that not many people even pursued in the first place. But again, I guess you can ask him to kill him and he might not do it.
But he didn't actually kill those guys. He knocked them out.
Right.
Or did he kill them?
Well, he was forced to intervene. No, he didn't kill them. That's the first option. That's 12%. He was forced to intervene. It's not clear what that means. But you could lock them in the closet. So that I did see the option for a closet I couldn't get to in time, but that was one option that if I had been a little quicker with the controller, I could have done that. But basically, as usually happened in this game, whenever I had to do something quickly, I failed to do it. And so the game just solved the problem for me. But yeah, we're not too... But I think the point is that you can knock them out before they get too close. But instead, he knocked them out when they got too close. And I'm not sure what that would have involved, because I feel like I did the two things that you can do, which is throw the mug and throw the chair. I don't know what else I was supposed to do to knock them out. All right, let's see if there's anything at the end. Thanks for playing and following Sean and Daniel on their journey. Discover more games around Life is Strange by going to the Buy More page. I guess I mean the first game and the Captain Spirit. Back to the main menu. All right, so let's see the other end. I mean, that was really the happiest possible ending, so... Dad is back.
So were you going to reload from a previous save?
No, you can...
Oh,
you can replay episodes.
What's with Lame Avenue? Why?
I think it was like... Yeah, I think it was actually something else. That's their nickname for it.
Oh, I see. Thought you were going to say it's a Spanish name. So it's
Lame.
Yame.
Call me Avenue. Oh, okay. Wow. So, okay. So, I think I can do this. So I thought we were only halfway done with the episode, but we really weren't. That episode wasn't that long.
Shit.
But I mean, it certainly seems like unlike last game, there's a right ending and a wrong ending. How is Surrender supposed to be a better ending, given what we just saw?
Sean, what are we gonna do?
Sean Diaz! It's over!
I think if I had done the other option and used a different slave slot, I could have skipped this scene. But
I was going to say that it's nice that you don't have to play further back than this. So this is...
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do other things. I might fuck around with that. I didn't feel like doing it right now.
You know that day in Seattle?
The other thing I want to know, I said it last time, is... Maybe I can look it up now. Why is David there if you didn't kill Chloe? But that's, again, another thing that would require me. It's not just a question of making the decision at that moment. It would just require me to play the entire game.
I'm sorry for my mistake.
Because I told it what happened in Arcadia
I
Bay
tried my best.
before the game even started.
I swear.
Sean.
Well,
I'm so proud of you, and I know, just
So,
like Dad would be.
try to find out the answer to that
We
question.
both learned a lot together, but you can make your own rules now. If we surrender, they will separate us, Daniel. And if that happens, promise me that you will always do the right thing, okay? Don't waste your power. Peace.
David talks to Sean about how devastated he was when his wife and everyone else he knew was killed by the Great Arcadia Bay hurricane. He only knew that Chloe and Max lived, but hated them for immediately leaving the town. Eventually, he acknowledged the past was the past and got over it.
Remember,
Okay, so
you're Daniel Diaz.
confirmed if you
I promise, Sean.
sacrifice Arcadia Bay, Joyce dies. Which makes sense, because I think they specifically showed that the diner, which is where she worked and where she was at the time,
So,
was destroyed.
how does the story of the Wolf brothers end?
All right.
I think their story ends right here.
Here? But I could.
Lame Avenue.
I get it.
Yeah, it's not Lame Avenue.
It's
It's
not
something
Lame.
else. It's
Exactly.
No, I'm saying this whole
We're not criminals.
choice is lame.
We're just kids. And we still have time to choose what life we want to live. You're my brother. And I love you.
I love you too, Sean.
It's gonna be alright. Promise.
You promise? For real this time?
It's apparently Lewis Avenue.
I do. We're doing the right thing. Just try and remember what I taught you. I mean, only the good shit.
I will. I swear.
On your knees! I said on your knees now!
That's not on their knees.
I'm sorry about all this. We're gonna look after your brother. That's my word. Okay, he's ready.
Sean! No! Sean!
Oh yeah. He's gonna be fine.
Daniel! You're not a little wolf anymore.
So if I recall correctly, there
Never
would
forget
be
who you are.
the possibility here that he would not surrender, but because we taught him to be respectful, he did. I'm gonna see me get the electric chair. I mean, the answer is no, because I'm a minor. But whoa, seriously? Oh
What
my
did you want
god!
to see?
Wow.
You wanted to see some extra closure, like you did with the good ending.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, like so they're implying that like nothing good happened to Daniel after that. Because you know Daniel, yeah.
Well, the same thing would have happened to him.
The same thing would have
We
happened,
just
except
wouldn't
he
have known
wouldn't-
it if
he
we had
wouldn't
never
keep in
seen
touch.
the other ending. If we had surrendered first and we
Wow.
never played again, we would never know that things apparently work out for
What?
him.
I told you to pick the other option.
I know, but I can't, you know. I thought that they would go to more effort to make it, you know. I thought the point of their endings was to have like a 50-50 decision and they're like equally valid and equally
Right.
fleshed
They
out.
didn't reward you at all for this one.
Right. Yeah, it didn't
Which,
reward
you
me
know-
for, you know, making the quote unquote right decision. It didn't even reward me for at least telling me what the fuck happened as a result of my decision. Wow. Jeez, really? Huh. Okay, I mean, it's not, it just, I guess it's not a big deal, but it just,
No, I think it's a big deal. I think you're right. I mean,
that the final
that
decision.
is the right
Yeah.
law-abiding decision. And then, like you're making it for Daniel. Like you want to keep Daniel safe.
Right.
You don't want any more bloodshed. Whatever. You don't want to have Daniel hurt anybody else. And so it's noble in a way.
Yeah.
And Daniel as everybody else was saying, Daniel gets to live the rest of his life, and we don't get to see that.
Yeah, they
Not even a plot.
literally could have showed the exact scenes, the exact same scenes, except instead of sending him a letter from Mexico, I sent him a letter from jail. I mean, it could have been the exact same scenes if they were that, even if they were that lazy.
That is bizarre.
Jeez, wow. Okay, so any final thoughts about this thing?
You broke up there. Any
final
words?
thoughts about the game?
No, I don't know. It would. Yeah, it's disappointing. You know, I was going to say before we started at the beginning of this, and you actually did address it without me even saying it. Is like what could possibly happen for them to redeem the rest of this game? I mean, not saying it's hopeless, but I'm saying what. To make it actually a great game or
Right.
a good game, and like what, just the best possible thing. If we could write this ourselves, or we could imagine the happiest ending, or the ending we most want to see, what would it be?
Right.
And I don't think we got it. I think we got a pretty tame, almost predictable ending. And again, like I was thinking, we've been saying all along, these all the characters we met along the way. Do we want to see them again? It kind of would make
that would
story sense to bring them back and have
would
them
really
play a
been
role.
nice.
But
Yeah.
they didn't play any role. Cassidy, in only one of the two endings, showed up in a picture. Karen is same thing. She shows up in a picture.
Right.
She didn't end up having superpowers. She didn't end up saying.
And she's on the phone. Yeah.
She didn't end up like bailing them out or, saving the day or whatever, anything like that. But even if they, so I think my ideal ending would have involved those people.
Right.
And
Well,
yeah.
I think they thought that we did it with Karen. Mission accomplished. We redeemed her. We don't have to have the moment where she shows up at the end and proves it because she already did that. And I just feel like they're wrong about that. She, in our moment of confrontation, she stood around. I mean, she set fire to that building, that other building, created a distraction, but that was not played up as a big deal, really. And other than that, she just stood around and she told us that she had done the right thing and she was fine with what she did.
Yeah, but so no, I would not give this game a good rating. But as I said before, I mean, to you, that I enjoyed the whole thing. Just because this is just watching you play it, and just being able to say I quote unquote played this game
Right.
without having to actually sit there and do it. I've been getting plenty of work done
Yeah.
along the way. So yeah, and it's fun talking about it, of course. But nah, I wouldn't give this game high marks at all.
I think they tried a couple of things that I appreciate the ambition, but I think they didn't work. One of those things was not having you control the character who had the powers. That, like I said, I think it would have at least helped if we had more direct evidence of how our decisions affected what Daniel did. That's something that we still have to guess about, even though we finished the game now. But I didn't, that was an experiment that I don't think worked too well. And the other thing is, well, I guess maybe this wasn't a deliberate experiment, but like I was saying, the fact that you cannot die, cannot make a bad decision, sort of took stakes out of the game, because for that very reason, you can never make a bad decision. So therefore, it's almost like it doesn't matter what decision you make, because none of them is bad. And I was gonna make some other really important point that I'm trying to think of. Fuck, I can't remember what I was going to say. I know what it was. I think it was also an experiment to say, okay, the last game took place basically entirely in one location. It was set in a school, and the entire thing was about you being in a school. So in this game, you're going to be on a road trip. You're going to continually meet new people. And that to me didn't work, because then none of the characters meant anything. You would be just moving on to the next place. And I think that can work in a game. Like, I think of The Last of Us, where that worked. But I think the differences are, first of all, The Last of Us is more of an action game, so you don't really expect it to be as character-based as this game, I didn't go through The Last of Us thinking, oh, I really want to know what's up with my brother. I have to get back there. And, I cared, but it wasn't that kind of game, so it didn't feel like as big a deal. And The Last of Us, I think, was more successful at having it be about the relationship between Joel and Ellie. And I cared about it. It was two really good voice actors. Ellie's a really likable character. She's spunky. She's funny. Joel had an arc where he went from being this, it's the most cliched thing in the world, but the reason these things are tropes is because it works. He went from being a gruff guy who didn't care about anything to someone who cared about this one thing. Sean doesn't have an arc in this game. It's just, let's see where he can go next and get punched in the face. So that, I think, is another experiment that didn't work, not having continuing characters.
Yeah, and so the other thing that I was thinking about was that, I don't know, I feel like this game lost what was unique about Life is Strange. And if Life is Strange is gonna be a series, then it should have that kind of unique aspect to it, which was the whole. And it's not just. I think they thought, okay, well, the the unique aspect is someone has superpowers.
Right.
But that is not. I mean, but it was completely, in my opinion, unnecessary. Like it was just it was like a plot point. But I don't really think if you're telling a story about two brothers on the run, you could do that without this. I don't think it added really anything to the story. Whereas in the first one, it was the time bending powers were so integral to the story as well as the structure of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, one of the coolest things about the first game was just, the story structure and how it, kept on going, being non-linear, and which is a nice tie-in to the actual in-game, in-story element that you have this power.
That's right.
But the fact that that played into the narrative structure too, where at the end of the game, you go all the way back to the beginning, and is a crucial moment. I thought that was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, we got to do a second game now, and we're going to change things up, but we're just going to, and yeah, the addition of this telekinetic power was very perfunctory and not what makes this series what made the first game so good.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with all that. I think that the time travel power, and I think I said it before, was such a great choice because it is intrinsically something that makes storytelling more interesting. Just the fact that you have that. For one thing, you can avoid the problem I was talking about before, where you could make a bad decision, and it has quote-unquote permanent consequences, and you get to rewind, so you get to explain why you quote-unquote respawned, but so you get that out of it. But yeah, just the fact that you get, like you said, the different, you essentially, this is a game about making decisions and seeing what happens, and you're always curious to know what would have happened if I chose the other thing, and the mechanics of the game were that you could find out. So yeah, that was like the perfect quote-unquote power to have in this game. And the game itself was also about the implications of what does it mean that someone has this power? I felt because this was a 10-year-old kid, there wasn't that sort of like, there wasn't anyone sort of thinking about, well, like, what do these powers mean? Where did, even though Life is Strange 1 didn't actually tell you how Max got the powers, it was kind of on a more philosophical level. The characters were like, at least thinking about it. In this game, it's like, I don't know. It was just like a superhero story where it's accepted that certain people have superpowers, and that's it. I didn't feel like this is a realistic world where this is the only kid in the world who has ever had superpowers. And Life is Strange 1 felt more like that, where everyone is walking around going, holy shit, how is this possible? What does this mean in terms of the universe? I guess in this game we had the one religious kid who brought that aspect to it, but 99% of the time, no one was even, everyone was acting like this was a story where superheroes exist rather than a realistic story that you plopped a superhero into. And like I said, compared, for instance, to someone like Ellie, Daniel is not as interesting, and Sean is not as interesting. And that, I think, is a trap that you can fall into when you're like, our game is about politics, and I'm certainly a person who thinks that games should be about politics. I think everything is about politics, but the politics in this game I thought were very surface. I appreciate that they had a point to make and they, clobbered you over the head with it, but I didn't feel like it was, it was like preaching to the choir. I didn't feel like there was much artistic merit to the way that they portrayed it. So to me, that's ultimately the that's ultimately like where this game falls short. If I care about Sean and I care about Daniel, then all these things, fall by the wayside. But when you don't as much, then it's tougher. And, a lot of people did, and that's why they like this game. It's, it's subjective whether something makes you care or not. But, the best episodes were the first half of episode 1, where you're in your house. Episode 3, where you're in the same place and getting to know people. So that to me, what was missing is characters and character interactions. But all right, so if the question is what is next, I think we don't entirely know. But I do have some more games of this ilk. And for the reasons Bernie described, I think this is a good game to stream. You don't have to know the game beforehand. You don't necessarily have to watch it with rapt attention.
Especially, that was because the game has so many boring moments.
Right, and I feel like
you can
more.
Tune out for 2 hours and not miss it.
I feel like more than the first game. I really feel like maybe if I played the first game, I would realize that I had it too. But I feel like there were times it was like go in someone's dorm room and check it out, but you wouldn't do that for an hour.
No, absolutely. There's no way that was anything close. There was definitely moments, sequences where you just explored and talked to yourself, but that was also far more interesting than anytime that happened this game, and it was like at least 5 times as much of it in this game.
Yeah. So I think if we can find more games like this, we will probably try to prioritize streaming those. But I don't know. I'm around. I'm quarantined. So we'll probably do something. But so that is a wrap on Life is Strange 2. And thanks for you folks who are tuning in or watching the archives or whatever. I very much appreciate it. Very much enjoyed doing this. So we'll do it some more, I think. Okay, I believe I said everything I had to say, so good night.